Now. Hello, and welcome to Plucky's Tabletop Parlor live stream, where I'm going over a bunch of events. Events, dear people. Events. That's what I'm talking about this evening. I have got a number of interesting events that are going on, and I want to fill you all in with all of them. Hopefully you're joining in. Let us know what's going on. Hello, Douche Baggins 1985. What a lovely name that is. That's fantastic. Great to see you there. Thank you very much for joining. I'm gonna have some water because I am a thirsty boy. I hope you are having a lovely evening or morning, depending on whereabouts in the world you are, afternoon, wherever you are. Yes, I want to talk to you all about a number of different events. I'm sure you will have heard about the thing that I'm running, Warcastle. We'll get to that in a little bit, but there's a bunch of other stuff that I am working on at the moment. And I wanted to talk about it because I know kind of the dominant narrative on Old World YouTube is all about competitive tournaments, competitive events. And I've got one, competitive RTT that I'm going to talk about. But I want to try and start, maybe pushing the narrative in a bit more of in a narrative events way, and let's start kind of talking about that, and not having, oh my goodness, my chair. I cannot wait to change my chair. I am moving, fingers crossed, I'm moving house flat in the next week or so. And one of the things that is definitely going out in the garbage is this chair, which keeps on falling backwards. I don't know why I'm shaking that. That's very stupid of me. Goodness, I need a haircut as well. But yeah, I wanted to try and start swinging the conversation about events. So we're not just always talking about kind of competitive events in Old World. And I think you've got to put your best foot forward with these sorts of things. So that is what I am doing. I'm going to talk to you first and foremost. Firstly, about an event called the South Downs Showdown that I am helping to work on. Oh no. Oh, there we go. It's working. Cool. I hope it's working. Connect your encoder. Oh my goodness. What is going on? We are still streaming. Hopefully you can still see me. Yeah, there we go. I think we've had a mild issue there. Let me just refresh. Cool. Yeah, it's working. It is working. Oh goodness, lemon tech issues are going to tech issue me. Yeah, so where are we at? There we go. Very good. So I want to talk about the South Downs Showdown. That is a competitive event that I am helping a friend run. I'll come to that shortly. But mostly what I want to talk about is a couple of other ones. Firstly is the friendly formations, which I'm going to talk to you about in a hot minute. Old World Slow Grow number 3 that I am running. If you are a fan of the Old World Slow Grows at Bad Moon Café, yes, we have got number 3 coming. That I can confirm that, and I've got more information about that coming up in the stream as well. And I want to talk to you about Warcastle as well, the big premium event that I am super stoked about. And I will cover some of the details and the narrative stuff that is going on with that. I'll talk to you about that as well. So firstly, let's go through the South Downs Showdown. This is what we call an RTT. I have no idea what RTT stands for. So help me out, pop a chat and pop a thing in comment if you know what I think it's like. I thought it was like a round robin tournament or something, but I don't know. But anyway, a friend of mine, Vitas, big Skaven fan. He is organising an event down near Newbury in Hampshire. We have got, I believe, 20 tickets left available, although that might be, or it might be 20 tickets total. Double check on the website. I can't remember what's going on. It is a 3-round single day event at 2,000 points, which will be comped Rogue Trader tournament. Oh, very good, very good. I didn't realize that. I had no idea that it was a Rogue Trader tournament. I had no idea that that's what it was. Thank you very much, MJ H Sinclair, who is also, I am aware, is running a Battle March event up in St Albans Way. Please do pop it in the chat. It looks really, really fantastic. And I know he's got a great load of history running events. So I definitely think MJ Sinclair's events are ones to go to. So go and check them out. So this is going to be a square-based comp as well, and yes, of course we're using renegades with it as well. So that is all ready to go. You can, as I've said, it's down in Whitchurch, just outside of Newbury, in Hampshire, and I want to give a shout out to the event. It's on Saturday the 16th of May. Get your tickets at southdowns-showdown.co.uk. They're very reasonably priced. Unlike some other things that are coming up a little bit later on, but no, please do, if you're into your competitive stuff. We do have a few. We've thrown in a few twists on this. I will be there. I'll be helping TO it, as well as I would imagine either myself or Vitas will be stepping in as spare player. So we'll be there to go with that. But okay, we've got plenty of competitive events in the old world already, and there's plenty of conversation about competitive events. So I want to have like kind of a quick conversation about narrative events, and I want to kind of just like remind people that events in and around wargaming spaces do not always mean that they need to be like competitive tournament events. They can be narrative events where you really twist and change the systems to make asymmetrical games, to make change list formation kind of ideas, and play around with different things. One of the kind of things that you look at in, from where wargaming comes from, it is, you're trying to like see if you can have a go at beating, your opponent who is manning a different army and whatever, in different circumstances. And a lot of wargaming is about how you utilize all of the different things, not just your army, but everything else going on around it in your favor. And a lot of that extra stuff is asymmetrical. It's about the terrain. It's about, how, the just loads of different stuff. And it's something that like, it's about the terrain. It's about, what you're able to kind of bring to bear, whether you have more stuff, for whatever reason, whether you're in a kind of siege scenario, whether you're trying to like get something from one place to another. Like I always find it very interesting that baggage trains in tournaments at the moment remain very stationary when, why would you have a baggage train in the middle of the field at a tournament? It is something that you would go for. It's going to be way behind enemy lines that you're potentially trying to sack. Yet, in a lot of competitive events, they're kind of a thing there. So and they're on like within relatively short distance of each other on the boards. So how can we kind of have a little bit of fun with these sorts of scenarios and these sorts of things outside of it? So that's kind of what I'm largely kind of envisioning, not having stuff in a kind of set, almost kind of symmetrical sort of situation where we're trying to balance balance each side as much as possible. I like to kind of have fun and mess around and add twists and do stuff a little bit differently. It makes you kind of think on your toes a little bit more. It makes you think on your feet and all of that sort of stuff. So what does that look like in the events that I will be running? So first and foremost, I want to talk about an event series that is coming up in June. Tickets should be going on sale. If they're not on sale today, then hopefully they'll be on sale tomorrow or Friday. This is Friendly Formations at Bad Moon Café, Holloway Road. I need to stop coming out of this thing. There we go. It is a 1,250 point narrative event. So I will be drafting up kind of like a mission pack for each day, and they'll just have twists. We're going to keep it really simple because I want these to be really, really kind of friendly and fun. But I'm not always going to have, a set number of objectives with symmetrical deployment zones and all of this sort of stuff. I like mixing these sorts of things up. So what can that look like? Will we do something a little bit different with who you can have as your general? Maybe you've got to have like a particular thing. How do we figure out who is going to play one another? Can we do like kind of a small single day campaign system? There's all of that sort of stuff that I really, really want to play around with. Excuse me, my partner. There it is. Oh, okay, fine. I've got to go and pick up my partner from Stansted Airport in a few hours. So I'm just keeping an eye on what is going on with her flight. But we are fine for the moment. This Friendly Formation series, these will go on every 6 weeks at Bad Moon Café, Holloway Road, which is going to be really, really good fun. As I say, the event pack is by me. Yay. We're going to do 3 games in a day, twists, different systems, all of that good stuff. And the first event is going to be on June 20th. So we'd love to see you there. Bad Moon Café, Holloway Road. 3 games in a day. As I say, tickets will be on sale now-ish. If Will hasn't put the tickets up on the Bad Moon Cafe website today, they should be up in the next day or so. So keep an eye out on the Bad Moon Cafe website for that. Next up that I want to talk about is another thing that I am doing with Bad Moon Café. This is an ongoing series of events that I have been running. This is the Old World slow grow that we have been running out of Bad Moon Café, Holloway Road. It has been an insane surprise success where we have normally slow grow systems tend to kind of peak at the beginning and then slowly filter out. This has not been that at all. We have had continuous sellout events every week. We sold out the final event in the series the same week we sold out the first one, right? We've got a grand finale event that I am not going to reveal for anyone that is watching what that will entail, because there's going to be puzzles and mysteries for people to solve along the way. I'll show you kind of what it looks like in a moment, what the current kind of campaign series has been. It's been very, very good fun to write and very, very good fun to kind of play around with. We are doing Old World Slow Grow number 3. This one, you'll be building a border patrol up to an army. So we're still very, very early stages. I've literally just kind of confirmed it with Will, but he is super, super like keen for us to go again. It's all narratively driven, so there's always like kind of a big story that pushes the whole thing forwards. So we will keep that up, and this time, for the first time, please, if you're an Old World slow grower on site, we will be doing it not at Bad Moon Café Holloway Road. That is completely wrong. It's supposed to be Bad Moon Café Borough. We're doing it at Borough, people. This one will be coming out of Borough for the first time. There's been a lot of hype for a lot of people pushing for us to do it at Borough. I'm going to change that immediately. And again, this is the event pack by me. What a way to ruin the surprise, Grant, you absolute numpty. Let me slide you again. Oh, classic me. But yeah, we will be doing it at Borough, not Borough Road, just the Borough branch. You can, of course, like do games if Holloway Road is better for you, but we will primarily be running it out of Bad Moon Café Borough. So I know there's been a lot of people that have been clamoring for that. If you've not seen, I've not really kind of shouted about it before, so I want to kind of just take you through what the system has been for this current one. So I've been running a thing called Raiders of the Lost Arkenhold, and this is basically set in the Border Princes in the time like just before kind of the current setting. So the Border Princes are still kind of like awash with brigands and rogues and all of this sort of stuff, and your player character, like your general in the character in the game is set up as like kind of your warlord, and they're always like your general throughout the system, and they get to choose at the beginning of the system one of the 10 different archetypes. So this is basically like kind of, you know, taking your like one of the characters from your faction, you take one of those and you give it a warlord archetype, right? So you could be classically a Bretonian crusader, right? Which is, pretty common. Or you could be a Skaven priest. What does that do? What do we mean? What's a Skaven priest going to do? So each archetype will have a major trait and then a minor trait. And the major trait is like the big kind of buffing extra set of rules that they have. So in this one, the priest is just one of my favorite ones that I thought was quite funny when I was writing it. You have like 5 different kind of levels, and they kind of basically go up as the story progresses. So the major trait for the priests is level 1 is thoughts. You gain no effect. Level 2 is prayers. You gain no effect. Level 3 is you're on your knees, no effect. Level 4, you have -1 leadership. But then at level 5, you go through sainthood. You become immune to psychology. You gain hatred of all enemies. You're unbreakable. You gain +2 combat resolution to anything that you're in. And once per game, you can declare a divine surge, where all friendly units within 18 inches automatically rally and become unbreakable until the end of the turn. The priest can just cast Fireball, Pillar of Fire, and Hammerhand as a bound power spell at level 6. So you get to go through a lot of pains that just become this insane ball at the end of the campaign as you're as your faith is rewarded. There are other ones. For example, my other favorite one is the Adventurer, which is definitely based on and plagiarized from Indiana Jones, where you basically go around and your character like becomes his own kind of or their own special adventurer, and they're playing a board game and they're going around looking at all of the different terrain on the board, and they're trying to like investigate and get plunder it basically for gold and other valuables. The big one that has caused a lot of fuss and has been really, really popular is the Mystic Warlord trait, which basically kind of does a similar thing to anyone that is a fan of Warhammer 40,000 early 10th edition, where you get to like basically switch out dice. You have like a dice pool at the beginning and you get to switch them out. This one has had to be really teed down from where it was where it started out originally. Oh, thank you very much. Thank you very much for the super chat. Really appreciate that. I can't see it properly. Keep up the good work. It helps you a lot with the old world. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much, Cornate Gaines. We love it. So yeah, there's loads of that sort of stuff there. So that's all of your warlords, and your warlords get to do get involved in that way. The story is kind of built around the Border Princes, and each of your factions are like, each of your characters become aligned to a patron, and the patron gives you gold, and you can spend gold at our special campaign shop, tickets, travel and trade, and totally legitimate logistics, where you can buy special purchasable items like the blade of sea gold, which gives you +1 strength, and you can't take an armor save against wounds caused by this weapon. This has just been a great way to go through old campaign books, old army supplements, all of that sort of stuff, and just plunder it for ideas for special weapons. If I remember correctly, I pulled all of this out of the and I've just adjusted it and made it kind of fit old world. And this is all basically, all of this stuff here is just straight from the High Elf 6th edition army book that I've popped in, and then players can spend gold on it. They earn gold by winning games and fulfilling contracts for the particular patrons. The patrons over time are dying and allowing characters or like players to become kind of like the new head honchos, and they're all converging on a particular location, which is called the Arkenhold. One of these main patrons is like an archaeologist, and they're gonna like, theoretically, they're going to help them get into the Arkenhold and find out what lies inside. This sort of stuff has allowed me to like kind of come up with some interesting specialist sort of things, right? So I've come up with a bunch of common armaments and upgrades that I've just, managed to use to kind of tweak in fixes that I would personally like to see happen in the game. For example, the Tilean pikes, which are 1 point a model, and anyone that can equip a thrusting spear can instead take a Tilean pike. The Tilean pike gives you +1 strength, it's armor bane 2, and fighting extra rank. A cavalry or monster unit that charges a unit equipped with the Tilean pikes, that should be Tilean pikes, in its front arc count as having made a disordered charge. So I can't even type that in. God, I'm really bad sometimes at proofreading my stuff. But yeah, this way I've always thought pikes and spears and stuff like that should really be like kind of an anti-cavalry mechanism, an anti-monster mechanism, and they're just not, right? They're like this kind of crappy in currently in Old World. They're kind of just this crappy system that, you know, just gives you extra like kind of fighting ranks. It doesn't give you anything else. And what I've tried to do here is make them specifically anti-cavalry, which is, you know, just good fun. I've done another one here, which is the fairy bow, that come from Laurelorn Forest. These just become 30-inch range, and you don't get a negative modifier for shooting over half range if you equip it. You don't gain any other benefits as well. So that's kind of the main benefit there, which is really good fun. There's a training camp, so you can like train up one unit to like gain additional toughness or strength and stuff like that. And then I've also added in these campaign actions where you can spend gold to like automatically give yourself first player, or, you know, you can do a supply line disruption and force an opponent's unit to have to put a set unit in reserves and stuff like that. And just kind of having, you know, it's kind of a great way to like build in and add in these sorts of fixes, to kind of some of the more egregious elements, and just give like kind of a narrative kind of spin as to why these things are happening. It is, as I believe the good doctor would say, it's a very punk behavior to kind of do. I kind of found out recently that it's you can't copyright rule sets and stuff like this. Like, you can obviously trademark all of like the Warhammer and all of that, but there's no reason why we can't just go in and update and change stuff and have fun with it, you know, for this particular setting and for these sorts of campaign sort of things. So yeah, like, I would actively encourage people to do this. And if you're not playing this, and you know, if you're not playing in this particular campaign, and you want to use this campaign system, please do let me know. I've kind of kept this a little bit of a secret, but it's managed to, you know, I would say really actively engage like a good 40 or so people in an ongoing campaign. You know, it's done incredibly well for itself, if I do say so myself. So that is Old World's. That is like the kind of current run of the Old World Slow Grow, Raiders of the Lost Arkenholds. I'll be doing another one. It won't be set in the same location. It will be set in a different kind of time period. It will be set. I'm gonna switch up the mechanics a little bit. I don't know if I might speak and see how people kind of found the Warlord system. We might make some changes there. We'll either keep it or just like amend it and give you some new changes to the Warlord system as well. Good Lord, it's hard talking for ages. Stay hydrated, folks. Oh, yeah. If you've not seen any of this before, let me know what you think of it. I'm really kind of curious to see what people think. So this will likely come up in the autumn. We'll kick off the next round of it, which I'm really, really looking forward to. And hopefully I can get in to do some games this time. My personal life has been crazy. Like I say, you know, nothing like relationship. You know, I'm a very solid relationship with me and my partner. It's more my housing situation has been bloody nuts. But anyway, this background won't be here much longer. So yeah, it's been crazy times. Work's been bloody nuts as well. Cool. I reckon all of this stuff will sell out fast again. So yeah, if you're involved, if you're playing bad, you know, if you're a regular at Bad Moon Café, do definitely get in and get on tickets early. Cool. Finally, I want to just go over some bits to do with Warcastle. If you don't know what Warcastle is, it's a very, very silly idea. It's a very mad idea that I had last year after seeing No Retreat that they do for the Horus Heresy community. And it's a bit like, if you've not heard of No Retreat, it's run by SN Battle Reports, where they get a bunch of Horus Heresy players over the course of a weekend. You get everyone to stay on site and just have a big, Warhammer players on tour. And they do that all over in Gibraltar, which is where the SN Battle Report studio is based, and they go and play on that. And I don't have a big studio that I can go and do that in. And I'm not necessarily... I have nothing against Gibraltar. What was I even going to say there? I've never been to Gibraltar. I've got nothing to say on it. It looks like a fun rock. But yeah, it was more like, I think having something in a studio wouldn't necessarily would have fitted Old World, if you know what I mean. So I was like, what if we did Warhammer in a castle? And I have a lot of very stupid ideas. And most of the time, these things are batted down by people who say, Grant, it's a really stupid idea, don't do that. However, my biggest enabler, Chris, I was sat having a beer with him, and I told him about this idea, and he was like, no, Grant, that's a brilliant idea. We should do that. And we're calling it Warcastle. It is 3 nights in a 15th century castle just outside of King's Lynn. It's called Middleton Castle. We've already put the deposit down on it. I've got the catering sorted. We're having a massive medieval style banquet on Saturday night. We're still sorting out all of what's definitely going to be there, because we need to sell all the tickets first, obviously, to understand what people's dietary requirements and all of that are. So if you want to come, get a ticket. We've got them on early bird offer. They're on early bird until next Friday, the 1st of May. So it's payday for a few of you. So get them early before the thing sells out. Douchebaggins, and sounds like a reason to go home and to the UK and play Old World. It's a very good reason to do it. Now look, it's definitely not a cheap thing, to put together and to hire a castle. So we've got day passes that are coming out soon. There's we're waiting to sell most of the on-site tickets first, because we need to basically kind of cover the cost of the castle. We've already put money down on it. We need to kind of cover the rest. So if you're interested and want to support a really, really cool, stupid, crazy event, then please do come and support it. We'd love it. And the other kind of thing with Warcastle is, if we can get this one going, there are a bunch of other castles that we can look to hire, but they're just bigger. So we need more people, and we need this one to go well, so we get it done as proof of concept. We can get it working. We're I can showcase to people, because if I can showcase to people that we can work it, I can start getting more sponsors and all of that stuff to help us cover the costs. If we're covering the costs, we're bringing the price down, because it's quite expensive at the moment. And if we get it going, we can move it on. Give me a moment. Very good. Lovely stuff. Cool. So yeah, I'm super psyched about it. It's happening the first weekend of November. I've been having meetings about it every week. What's the dates for Warcastle? It's the first weekend of November, 6th through 9th of November. Like if you want to stay on site, get in now. We've the ticket cost for, like, if you're sharing a room, I know it's quite, like, it's going to be like £950 if you get an early bird one. And you can do a deposit on that and then pay the rest out. So we're doing like a 30% deposit that you can put in. If you don't want to pay that, we are doing day passes later on, $250 a day. But you got to remember, this is before people go off at me and say this is a big scam. It's not a scam. I've already paid money down on this. We're covering basically 3 meals it's going to be basically 3 meals a day for each of the main days that you're on there, but dinner on the Friday night and the Monday morning, because you're staying for 3 nights on site if you're getting an on-site ticket. We're buying it, we're getting a bunch of all of the equipment sort of like bought in. There's loads of this sort of stuff, there's loads of organizational stuff. We've already sold a bunch of the double room tickets. So if you want to get a double room, they are more expensive than the twin rooms. So get on those kind of fast, because they are actually almost already gone. But there's plenty of the twin room ones where you're sharing. So there's plenty of those available. I think we're probably going to look at doing a discounted one if you're getting a twin room a bit later on as well. So to keep an eye on for that. If you've got a mate that could be interested in coming as well, then please do. But yeah, keep an eye on that. But I didn't want to talk too much about all of that stuff. I love for people to come. I really, really, really want to make this event a success, but I really do understand that it is like kind of a big financial commitment. But I'm running like plenty of other events as well. So I've got the stuff there. So this both you live and currently work, so we'll watch before this. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Spinkter. Very good. Ideas. Yeah, so the campaign system, I am taking up basically inspiration from the General's Compendium. If you're not sure of what the General's Compendium is, it's basically this big tome that was made for 6th edition Warhammer Fantasy, which covers a lot of like the ideas of how to make big narrative campaigns for multiple players. How do you like tie in getting loads of people to play games together, right? Because you got to remember that like all of the people at Games Workshop, they were playing games with each other all the time. So they came up with excuses to like have these systems and make maps and do all of this stuff, right? And they just put it all into this big book with loads of ideas and loads of stuff that they've tested out. And I am massively plagiarizing from it to help write my campaign system. I'm just going to admit it now. It's absolutely glorious. You can definitely find it on the web because it's quite difficult to get a hold of otherwise. But yeah, it's wicked, and it's just really, really a fun read from the early 2000s. So we're stealing a bit of that and ideas from that. We're looking at and have definitely taken some of the ideas from the Mighty Empire system. We love you. Thank you, Mr. Spinkter. Thank you very much. I'm really looking forward to it. We want it to to be a success. Utilizing isn't plagiarism. No, but stealing word for word is. In my I'm sure I'm going to edit it a little bit, but I guess if I'm citing it, if I put it in quotes, I don't think I'll get H-Bomber guy after me. No. Yes. So where was I at? I've got to start reading very funny comments. But yeah, we're stealing a little bit from the Mighty Empire system. Lots of like kind of the resource generation stuff and hex tiles. Hex tiles are going to be a thing to build out the campaign map. Like I think they are just a prerequisite of doing a big overworld map campaign for a Warhammer Fantasy thing. I think you just gotta do it. So yeah, we're going to be bringing in that, which is going to be really fun. What I wanted to kind of talk about tonight with Warcastle was the battalion system, and how we're specifically going to, like, I'm kind of almost done with the campaign building system, like the army list building system. So and it's kind of a really exciting, fun thing that I've come up with. Because it involves like units becoming like veterans and all of this sort of stuff. So it'll be really fun, and it'll, make it feel thematic. So yeah, as I say, I'm changing how lists are built. You're only allowed one special item. You can't just like chocker a load of magical items on a couple of hero characters and have them go nuts. Like, I want to get people to think, a little bit from the ground up, and they'll be able to earn special magic items as they go. So that's going to happen there. You'll need to earn weapons through some of the different resources. We're still figuring out some of those bits, and I need to play test it as well. So that will happen a little bit later on as well. You'll be plundering resources from a hex map. I'm a big fan of Eclipse, Second Dawn for the Galaxy, and we're going to do kind of like a system of placing like players, placing items, placing hexes on the board. I know, Gobbo. The man's never off the air. 3 videos in one day. I've got if you're not aware, I've released a short today. If you're on the Patreon, go and join Plucky Stapletop Parlor Patreon. There's a 15-minute preview of a video I'm working on. So go and check that out. I'm gonna try and have that all ready to go, because it's gonna be a bit difficult for me to get videos done potentially over the next month or so. So I'm building up a little bit of a backlog. But if you want to go and see a pre version of that now, that's up live on Patreon. You can go and check it out. So I got bloody loads of stuff coming out at the moment. Yeah, you'll be plundering. And then, yeah, as I say, you're going to be fighting Warhammer battles to earn campaign influence and turn units into veterans. So what does that kind of look like? I'm going to jazz all of this up because I've got skills in InDesign. So I'm gonna jazz this up a little bit later on. But the way it's going to kind of work is you're going to have like a battalion or a banner of 1,000 points as your kind of starting list. And the banner will have 30%. You have like a beginning recruit battalion, a recruit banner, where you've got to have in your recruit battalion at least one character that's going to be like a lieutenant, and then you've also got to have a battle standard bearer in that banner. So that's just like a prerequisite on that. I think if I put it, I've done it like that. Additionally, the recruit battalion must contain a battle standard bearer. They come equipped with a mundane standard, and then you can spend points on weapons, armor, and mounts, and all of that as well. So, but you can't have like a special magical weapon and stuff like that. You're fine having like a great weapon or whatever. You've got to spend 50% of the recruit battalion on core units, and then you can spend up to 25% of the recruit battalion on special units. meaning there's no access to rare units in the recruit battalion. So you can't access some of the bigger, crazier stuff early on. You've got basically your core infantry, and that's what you're going to be working with. But over the course of the campaign, you're going to be able to add in your veteran battalion, where you have all of your special units, your core units, and you can even add in your rare units. You can even add in extra core units if you want. And this way, we're gonna open up, you're gonna have basically access to the same amounts of stuff that you would in a normal Grand Army list by the time you get to 20,000 points. We're just gonna group it in different ways. Finally, you're going to have a separate Warlord battalion, which you can spend up to 500 points on. And your Warlord battalion just has one character in it, and it's got to be from one of these it's got to be basically be one of the characters that you would expect it to be from your normal Grand Army list. So if it's Tomb Kings, it's got to be a Tomb King. It could be a King or a Rune Lord from the Dwarfen Mountain Olds, a Claw Lord or a Grey Seer from the Skaven, Dark Elf Dreadlord or a Supreme Sorcerer. So those top level characters in your list, they've got to be the general of the list. And then you'll be able to add and give them access to special monstrous creatures and all of this stuff by finding them on the campaign, or leveling them up and doing all of this stuff. So we make it kind of really narrative. And then you'll also be able to give units the veteran veteran kind of stuff. So as they fight battles and stuff like that, as they kill other units or win stuff, they gain experience points, and they can use those experience points to update certain things in their roster, which is going to be really, really good fun. So yeah, that's roughly what list building is going to look like in Warcastle, which is going to be really, really good fun. So yeah, blimey, Charlie. So yeah, I mean, I've got a lot of stuff going on at the moment. Plenty of events coming up that I want you to get involved in, and I'd love to see some of you. I know a few of you are over the other side of the world and across in the continent. But if you're able to make it, we'd love to see you there. If you're in the UK, come at me. If you're outside of the UK, right? I'd love to actually know, because I have a lot of people that message me about kind of events, and they're like, hey, I don't know people near me, I don't have events and stuff, or I'm not aware of these sorts of things. I'm sure that there will be people in and around or nearby to people, across the US, in Australia, across most of Europe, definitely in Southeast Asia as well. There's going to be plenty of people that are playing around, and we just need to get people to link up and start building up a community. I say start building. There's already quite a big community already of Old World players, but yeah, I think we can just make sure that people are linked up and are able to get different games in and all of that as well. And I'd love to be able to start trying to find a way to get other people to link up and all of that. If people know of ways, please do send them across. We need an Old World friend finder. I think that is absolutely accurate. I know someone that's out of work at the moment that is building he's building a friendly local gaming store finder. And I kind of suggested to him that he does something similar to it. but for finding groups and stuff like that. Now, I know that things like Best Coast Pairings has access to stuff, but like BCP is very, very tournament organized and tournament focused, and all of it is set on that. Yeah, I know people use Discord. Like, I have a Discord and stuff like that, but Discords are like very closed. And you have to know that the Discord exists to go and find it, right? So we need like a big catalog of Discord servers or something like that, where people are organizing in their local thing. Because if you don't know about it, then you can't access it, right? So we need I need to find a way to like get all of these things set up, or like kind of a central location to get it off. Maybe we do just call it Old World Friend Finder. Cool. Which would be awesome. But yeah, anyway, I'm going to pause there because I've got to go and drive for an hour and a half and then over to Stansted Airport in a not too long a time. So thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for listening to me ramble on about events, dear people, events. And hopefully we'll see you at a few of them. And I'll leave it there. Thank you very much for watching. We'll see you all soon. Bye-bye.